Your thoughts shape who you are. Do you know that you think between 60 and 80,000 thoughts a day? That's amazing. Now, you can't change the number of thoughts that you have, but what you can do is you can change what those thoughts are. Because this is so important, you guys. What you think becomes what you say, becomes what you do, and this becomes your life. So you need to learn how to master your mind. How do we do this?
Well, the first thing we need to do is pause. So many times we forget that, all these thoughts are coming through and we just don't do anything about it. And they're negative, they're positive, they're neutral. And so if we just take time to stop and pause and see what those thoughts are, we have a chance to control it.
Right. Think about what you're thinking about.
Right. Zig Ziglar used to say, stop your stinking thinking. So
sometimes you have stinking thinking and I've stopped your stinking thinking. Yeah, we got to do that for each other too. But it's so important that we become aware of what our thoughts are. So that first step is to stop.
Welcome to the Intentional Leadership Podcast. Today we're going to talk about the 5 mental hacks you need to know to have a positive mental attitude.
Right, and these are genius hacks, and it's going to absolutely revolutionize the way that you think. So we've talked about the first one really needing to be present and aware of what you're thinking about.
Right, the second one's practice mindfulness.
So good.
You're better at it than me.
Well, and this is such a hard thing to do. This became so important for me that I actually became certified as a mindfulness coach because I did not know how to do this. So used to pushing through as a high-achieving entrepreneur, and the entrepreneurs that I coach, you guys have this same problem, is so often you are thinking about what's the next thing. You've got these big goals, which is amazing, and these projects that you're working on, and then you accomplish those goals, and then it's like, what's next? What's that next thing? What's that next thing? And we're going through this chasing after time all of the time, and we're really losing being in the present moment. And that's what mindfulness is. If you don't know what mindfulness is, it's really about being aware and mindful of where you are right now. And if you're always chasing for what that next thing is, and so often people are thinking about what's that next thing in the future that I'm going to, what's next, and not appreciating where you are right now.
Yeah, I think it's easy for us to do that. It's hard to just be present where we are. We often dwell about the past. We don't think about the future in a positive light. We just really, we're always thinking about where we're not. And if we take this chance to be mindful and be where we are today and be grateful for that and find all the good in that, it really gives you a chance to slow down a lot of these thoughts. They're still going to fire, but hopefully you're going to be able to slow them down and grab all the good ones.
Right. Well, and this whole mindfulness piece, so how do you do this then? How do you really apply this genius hack? Well, in mindfulness, it's being aware of what you're doing in the moment and not having the distractions of everything else. And this is really hard. So whatever you're working on, whatever you are being a part of, see if you can just do that one thing. We've got another blog and podcast on how to do one thing at a time. We're just such multitaskers in today's world.
Right. One of our clients is really having a hard time with this. He has so many things going on in his life, both professionally, personally. He's a grandpa. He's got a kid at home. He has a business that he's running, and he is always full of new ideas, and it's a challenge for him. And he cannot slow down.
Right.
And so it's really hard for him to just be present in where he is and breaking through that mindfulness.
Right.
Because it's hard if you're just driven to go, or you're ADHD, and then like me, then it's really hard to stop and be mindful.
So here's a suggestion then. Whatever it is that you're working on, give your full self to just that. So let's say that you have an appointment coming up in an hour with a client. So for that hour meeting, put your phone on Do Not Disturb. If it's a Zoom meeting that you're going to be, say, doing over the computer, then go ahead and put other things away on your desk so that you have nothing to distract you on your desk. You maybe have your notebook, the notes, the things that you're going to talk about with your client. But you're going to commit to being fully present and focused for that 1 hour. You're going to just do that one thing. And then really make that a mindful moment, that everything you're doing in that call with that client, that you're mindful and present, that you're not just going into it with what you're going to tell them, but you're going into it with an open mind and you're listening and you're fully present there. And if your client ends up bringing something up new to you that you maybe weren't going to talk about, that you're so present that you're able to really hear him and understand him and know that you need to pivot in that conversation. And when you do that versus thinking about what's next or thinking about, oh, I've got this whole agenda that I need to take them through, and really just being present where you are and what you're doing, it can make such a difference. And it's going to make this meeting with your client just that much more rich and effective for both of you. And you're really going to bring value that way. Or if you're spending time with your child, just being with that child, putting your phone away, makes such a difference.
Yeah, I use the word curiosity. Just have genuine curiosity about the person you're sitting with. And that can be your spouse, it could be your child, it could be a client, it could be a friend, whatever it is, just genuinely be curious and be open to what they have to discuss.
Right. Right. And, you know, I think we have such full plates as driven entrepreneurs that it's hard not to have everything stacked on them. And I know I've been guilty of this with having a phone call with my mom as an example, where I've been doing all of these other things. I'm washing laundry, I've got my earbuds in, and we're talking on the phone and I'm moving around. And she said to me, "Can't you just sit and have a conversation with me?" And wow, that struck me. And so now maybe I wasn't doing a good job of really being mindful and present with her because I was doing these other things on the side while talking to her. And so now we've set up a day of the week where she just sees me and I FaceTime her and I am sitting on the couch and she sees that and I'm fully present and engaged with her. And it makes a difference in our relationship and those conversations for sure.
Right. Well, the second one's challenge your thoughts. If we're having all these thoughts bombard us all day long, challenge them. Is it a good one? Is it a bad one? Should I even listen to it? Should I just let it go by? What are these thoughts that we can challenge, and what can we do about it?
Right. I love that. And I think this is a critically important piece because we have, and you know, we've talked about before, that critical mindset is the one that shows up most of the time. And that is just a natural part of being a human being. And if you're doing a lot of good in the world, there's going to be these negative forces that are just after you to make sure that you're not doing that good in the world. So you're going to have these negative forces, this critical mindset that's going to be telling you you're not good enough, you can't do this, just give up, and things like that. And so you need to challenge those thoughts by asking, are those thoughts the truth? So going back to one of the earlier points we talked about, actually being aware of the thoughts that you're thinking. What are you thinking about? Is that, as you said, a negative thought? And if it is a negative thought, then challenge it by saying, is that the truth? And sometimes it's not. In fact, more often than not, it's not the truth. So if you can then flip that on its head and claim the truth, state the truth that I am worthy, I am enough, I can do this, and this is what I'm going to do, and just not allow those negative thoughts to sit and dwell and get within, which that is not any good for any of us.
No, we can't have those things festering inside of us. So if we can flip the switch, make them a positive thought, and then move forward, you're going to be better, everybody around you is going to be better, and they're going to feel it.
Right.
And if somebody else has those negative thoughts, maybe you can offer to flip it for them. Oftentimes you're with somebody, they make a negative comment, you go, wow, is that really true?
Right.
What about, and then ask and reframe it for them. Help them get through their negative thoughts. And it'll build that relationship. It'll build trust, as well as make them, put them in a better place.
Right, right. Now, a caveat to that is we don't think that it's a good idea that you're constantly having this positive mindset and you're ignoring these negative thoughts that are real that maybe you need to deal with. So when we talked about challenging the thoughts, that you want to flip and be in an optimistic mindset, but sometimes it's important to really dwell on what is this repeating toxic thought that I'm having, and asking some deeper questions behind it. Spend some time in your quiet time, in your morning success ritual, where you really analyze what's going on with this. What's below this toxic thought that always keeps coming back? Why is there a pattern of this toxic thought? So challenge it by asking those deeper questions. And this is not something that you want to do when you're, running off to your next meeting or your next event, but when you have some time that you can be by yourself to really look at those thoughts and where they're coming from. And sometimes you just need to get some help from a trusted coach or a counselor, and that's okay too. But just being aware of that when we talk about challenging your thoughts.
Right. And you just mentioned it, create that space. If you know you're going into a challenging situation and it's going to be a 30, 45 minute, whatever call, make 15 minutes of afterwards available just so you can download and kind of dump all that information out so you can get it out.
Right. Great job making it this far and being committed to your personal and professional growth. Now, we want to make sure that you're able to take the lessons from this episode and apply them to your leadership and life. So we've created absolutely free a downloadable worksheet that you can download right now, and it's going to show you the top lessons of today's episode and, more importantly, help you create an action plan so you can take these principles and put them in process in your life right away. So go ahead and get this resource and let's get back to it, right? And that leads us into our next genius hack for your mindset, and that is be curious. I mean, so often, I know I'm good at this, I know you're good at this, and you guys probably are too, is that we tend to just beat ourselves up when we have these negative thoughts that come up or this negative mindset. And instead, if you can just be curious about it, it's a great way to approach your mindset as well as problems, problem situations, problem people in your life, is just being curious about why is this coming up right now?
Yeah, I used curiosity a minute ago, and I also think that it's most important now as well. And it can be part of just part of who you are. And if you can genuinely be curious, anything that comes at you, if you have a new business idea and you're curious, your creative thoughts will flow.
Right.
And if you have a challenging situation or a challenging person you're working with, and then you're creative about how you can come around that. If instead of dwelling on the negative, if you're just curious, just thinking about our heating and air conditioning unit breaking. You weren't curious. I was not in a positive place. So I said, what can I do? I asked myself, I was curious, what can I do to fix this problem? And what can I do to fix it right now? And so I figured it out. I started calling people. And if I didn't like them on the phone, I hung up and found somebody else I did, because I just felt like if they are not communicating well on the phone, I may not have a good time working with them later.
True.
And so I found a list of 5 people, and I found 3 to come give us a quote. But it was the curiosity of, okay, what can I do after I got over the frustration?
Right.
Then how can I solve this? So you just be curious on who it is and what it is you need to fix.
And I love that you say the word fix, because that's a great, great intro to what I was going to say is, you are probably a fixer listening today, and I know that I am too, and you are. And so often when we see a problem, our tendency is, and somebody brings us something, or we see something, is that we want to fix it. We want to fix it. And if we can be instead maybe curious about it, we're listening to whatever the problem is, and rather than coming in to fix, bringing that curious mindset to the conversation. So asking somebody else, why are you feeling that way? Rather than coming in with the solution. Maybe you do that too. You come within the solution. You know right away how to be able to fix this issue that another person is having, but being curious about it can be helpful.
Right. And I don't think being curious such to the point where you're a counselor and they just ask you these questions and you sat there for an hour and there was no solution.
Right.
I think that you'd be curious to the point, and then you can offer solutions or ideas or even ask, do you want my opinion on this?
Right. And I think when you get out of that negative mindset and you turn that to being more curious, it just stimulates in your brain this ability to be more creative. Because let's face it, we can't make good decisions when we're in this negative place. So, I don't know who said it. Don't make decisions when you're crabby or you're tired or you're hungry. So if you're having a negative mindset, you got to get out of that place to really be able to have a creative mind. So being curious can help you get there.
Well, you said crabby and not enough sleep. Sleep is one of them you need to do. And since our heating system broke, it was a little bit warm, and so we didn't sleep as well. So I started off the day not on my best behavior. So obviously I wasn't ready. I was just ready to I was going to fix this problem. I was going to go buy one and install it myself somehow. So get enough sleep.
Yes, so important, because if you're getting proper sleep, not just the amount of sleep, but actually sleep quality, that just repairs everything in your body and your brain. And it helps with, if you're getting enough REM sleep, it helps really with those memories that are being stored. And if you're getting the deep sleep, it just really helps to re-energize your body and your mind. And if you really want to be thinking your best, if you really want to have a clear mind, you want to master your mind, you want to be able to have a healthy mind and a healthy brain. And this comes from really taking care of your body by getting the right amount of sleep.
We talk about sleep a lot.
We do.
And
it's
you're
critical.
Obsessed with sleep and have a very
disciplined.
Yeah, disciplined is, that's one way of putting it. Sleep routine. And we probably have a podcast on that, or at least a shorty, that if you want to know her routine, it's vastly different than mine, and it works well.
Right.
So
very important. It's good. Well, if you really want to have a sharp mind, then getting sleep is absolutely foundational for it, for sure.
And finally, and it all kind of comes cumulative to this, is being grateful. Mm-hmm. And if we're grateful for what we have in the present moment, then a lot of these challenges or problems can just go away, or they're not as big as they seem at the moment. So if you can stop and be grateful for where you are, that's another hack that I think is almost as important as curiosity for me personally.
Right, really important. And if you operate from this place of gratitude, I mean, studies show that having an attitude of gratitude just makes you have a happier, healthier life.
Zig is just full of it today, isn't he? Yeah, he has great quotes.
Is that one of Zig's?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
An attitude of gratitude.
Oh, I love that. Well, then it's so important. It really makes a difference. So if you want to master your mind, a genius hack is just being grateful. And this helps to take those negative thoughts away, because did you know that you can't have a negative thought and a positive thought at the same time? So if you're thinking negative, your brain has to switch over to think a positive thought, and then it has to switch over again to think a negative thought. So if you're thinking grateful thoughts, then that is taking over that negative space, because obviously being grateful is a positive thought, right? That's a good thing.
Right. Yeah. I was just trying to relate that to how I could have both at the same time.
Oh, well, being grateful is a positive thought. So I think that's a good thing. Think, like you talked about earlier in this episode, is really being grateful for the things that are going on in your life that are going well.
Not the heating system, cooling system.
Yes.
No,
we need to get that fixed.
Yeah, no, but if you're, for instance, golf, if you're standing over the ball and you have a negative thought, I think every shot I have is going to be just go in the hole. It doesn't matter how far away I am or if I'm in the sand or whatever. I just assume that somehow miraculously it's going to go in the hole. And it doesn't matter. So, and I may not hit every shot, but I'll make my next shot. And so just having that constant positivity really helps for me. And that was a basketball saying too. I'm not going to make every shot, but I'll make my next shot.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it. And really, when you can bring yourself to that place of gratitude, it just changes everything about your life. So do you have a gratitude practice right now? Is it part of your daily life? And is it a tool that you can use to master your mindset, because it makes such a difference? So we have a gratitude practice in the morning, thinking of things that we're grateful for. And I think that's a great way to start the day with an optimistic perspective. And one of our clients actually keeps a gratitude journal at her desk as well. So she has one that she has at home that she uses as part of her morning routine. And then she has another one that's in her office. And so if she finds during the afternoon, if maybe it's been a tough day, or she has a break between meetings, that she'll grab that out and she'll write down 3 things that she's grateful for.
Yeah, I think we do that in our mastermind too. We break and stop for a minute and have people just write down what they're grateful for.
Right.
Because inevitably we may probably try and figure out how to fix all their problems together as a team,
Right.
during the mastermind.
Right.
But let's start from a place of gratitude. And so we often just start the masterminds with that.
Right. What's a positive in your world?
Right.
And yeah, what's a positive in your world? So think about that. So we're talking about genius hacks today to really just regulate and improve your mindset so that you can master your mind.
Right.
So we can summarize these.
First one's pause and just create the space for it. Second one's practice mindfulness,
Right.
which is similar but not the same. And then,
Challenge your thoughts.
sure, and challenge, and then create curiosity. Be curious about it.
Right.
And what that looks like.
Be sure you're getting the proper amount of sleep. That makes such a difference in your mindset.
And then
Gratitude.
gratitude. Jeez,
Yes.
I shouldn't forget that one.
One of the most important for sure. Yes. So if you want to take your mindset to this next level, these are the genius hacks that are really going to revolutionize the way that you think. And it's so important. So you really want to level up your leadership in life. It starts with your mindset. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you'll be the first to know when new episodes drop to really help you grow in your leadership and level up your life and your mindset.
Watch one of these other videos, share with a friend, and don't forget, download the PDF from today's topic so that you can make sure to hold yourself accountable and take that action plan and use it.
Have a great day.